Gaylord Nelson had run as a Republican and lost in northern Wisconsin in 1946. 2 years later, living in Madison, he became a Democrat and started a legendary career as lawmaker and leader.
We should never have Americanized this war. We're doing all the fighting.
Gaylord Nelson was 10 years old when he attended his first campaign rally for Fighting Bob LaFollette.
He saw LaFollette as someone who helped people and solved problems.
Feeling personally inspired after that first speech, young Gaylord announced he wanted to be a senator just like Fighting Bob. And just like his idol, Nelson worked tirelessly when it was time to campaign.
He was a very, very effective night person. He'd stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning talking and getting up at 8 o'clock to go campaigning again.
Wow.
We did that for about a week one time campaigning in northern Wisconsin.
Gaylord's strong suit, I think, was that he never took himself too seriously. They were dedicating the Gaylord Anton Nelson grade school, and Gaylord said a few remarks, and he said, "Boy, I've come to schools a lot of times. I never leave unless I ask the boys and girls a question. Does somebody have a question?" A little kid shoots his hand up. "Yes, young man, what's your question?" "Why did your mama name you after a school?" And Nelson loved that. And it was perfect Gaylord Nelson.
It was a less than perfect political climate for Nelson when he first got to the state capitol in the late 1940s. He was in a small Democratic minority, making it hard for him to get anything done. So he found friends to work with on the other side of the aisle.
I always worry that politics gets too caught up in nostalgia and, oh, let's be like we were in the past. But Gaylord Nelson and Melvin Laird were of different parties, and they were best of friends.
I asked Mel about it, and his answer at first was quite serious, and it was basically that they were both motivated to be public servants, to help people solve problems.
Mel Laird would go on to Congress and then the Pentagon as U.S. Defense Secretary under President Nixon. It was there that he would again find himself at political odds with his best friend. Gaylord Nelson was one of the first outspoken opponents of the Vietnam War. Senator Nelson arrived in Washington in 1962 after serving one term as Wisconsin governor, where he had begun his campaign promoting conservation and the environment.
I don't think there's any other issue viewed in its broadest sense, which is as critical to mankind as the issue of the quality of the environment in which we live.
The culmination of that effort came in 1970 when Nelson's call for a national teach-in on the environment resulted in the first Earth Day.
It is concerned with the total ecosystem, not just how we dispose of tin cans, bottles, and our garbage. Our goal is an environment of decency, quality, and mutual respect for all human beings and all other living creatures. An environment without ugliness, without ghettos, without poverty, without discrimination, without hunger, and without war. Our goal is a decent environment in its broadest and deepest sense.
More environmental laws were passed between the first Earth Day in 1970 and a decade later than at any other time in American history. I think he would probably tell you that his proudest legacy would be that today there are multiple generations of children with an environmental ethic.